We're back
What
for
do we
game
got here?
4. I didn't actually know they were
Really?
playing a game 4, and I was like, wait, why are they still in game?
They're still doing it.
So according to the actual people involved, Mork game 1 was a last second switch against everybody's will. Like there was a Leona hover into a Mork switch, and then the Mork just inted for however long that game lasted, like 21 minutes or something.
Yes.
So this game, we actually twisted his arm and made him play the Leona.
Mm-hmm.
So the Leona support, then against Leona support, it's pretty easy
You
to
don't
execute.
need
You
a
know?
lot.
It's just one of the strongest supports you can ever imagine. But hey, we take those.
Yeah, we take those.
We're gonna have pretty interesting matchups this time around. So it's gonna be Ezreal against Aphelios, which is a matchup that I've seen way too often in these past few months, I want to say. Like, I think if you go to the playlist of like 140 plus videos now and click on any one of them, chances are it's Aphelios against Ezreal. Because it's just these two added over and over. The interesting part is that they have a Blitz this time.
But Blitz against Ezreal.
This is actually,
Not
like,
the biggest
just looking
pick.
at Blue Team at a glance, this is a team that could probably justify a Blitzcrank because you do have the single target pick lockdowns required to make Rocket Grab have a lot more value.
Yes.
So I don't actually hate Blitzcrank pick this time around, which is rare. Generally, I just look at Blitzcrank and go, Blizz. This time, I think it's okay. Just this time.
I don't know. Blitz is such a coin flip champion.
That's very true too.
It's literally like you flip a coin, heads you win, tails you lose when you pull.
All right, let's get into the game. We're gonna have Jack's top against Riven. Riven is a champion that I haven't seen in years in Summoner's Rift. I can't remember last time I saw a Riven.
Riven is really weak right now.
Maybe it was Death Dance. She's fine.
She's pretty weak still, I would say.
She is she's designed to be a resourceless fighter, which
Yes.
The game kind of evolved past that because the meta for the longest time has been Juggernauts or tanks. And the solution to beating that has never been a melee fighter because those are the things that Juggernauts are designed to beat. In the role strictly just a melee fighter, I don't think Riven's weak. I do, however, think that the meta that isn't friendly to her has lasted a little bit too long. Because the dynamics kind of like you play tanks up, they get beaten by Juggernauts. Juggernauts, you play range tops, and range tops are always going to exist. And all three of these matchups, Riven kind of hate. You don't really do enough damage to tanks. Like the Riven Ornn matchup is just ultra garble. When Ornn hits 6, you just stop being able to win it. Riven is the most Juggernauts. It's pretty much suicide pick into set. And range tops have always bullied her. Oh, Kane! Here's the level 1. He gets stunned up. Jax is gonna take some chickens on the way out. Wait, the chickens are gonna street. Oh no, the reset! Oh my gosh.
Okay. We only added them once, so it's
but the Kane starting this camp was half health. That's pretty awful as a jungle start. He is gonna get this camp. It
is Kane.
Yeah, he got this camp, no problems. And he's gonna work on red buff now, but he's standing on a ward. Blue team already invaded level 1 and planted 2 wards down in the jungle. Riven is gonna go for a trade against Jax. Ezra gets a few CS here. He's actually leading his CS to the Aphelios. He has positive push in the lane. So he is going to beat them to level 2. Oh, here comes a spin on the Riven. She's going to lose that trade.
Z should come up. No, Z should come up in time. Yeah. She's winning the trade.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, she won that trade. I don't know. I'm following directed camera. Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah.
She has opened Longsword 3, which is an opening I haven't seen in a while. And she's going up against Corrupting Pod, which is better than Longsword 3. So
yes. So Riven has
that key burst.
Nice system.
She's actually getting some really good trades off on the Jax, but she has to be careful now. Oh, the Valor Shield. She's turning it on him, though. 2 more hits will kill him, but she can't find the killing blow. Jax will straight up squarely lose that trade. So Riven's actually pretty far ahead in the lane. Blitzcrank super extends but misses the hook. And here comes the Fiddlesticks. Can he get a fear down? He does flee the Leona, and the Reap silences. The lockup is there, and Fiddlesticks claims first blood on the Leona. Ezreal has to try to survive now. Flash pull! Oh, but it gets buffered by the Arcane Shape. He's fine, and the Kayn comes in as the next challenger, but Fiddle flashes back in, and that's gonna be Kayn dead! Oh!
What a disastrous turn for the red team.
I think that was a very ambitious Kayn.
Yeah.
I don't think you should just... I don't think you should just shadow walk and flash in when Fiddlesticks hasn't even left your lane yet. Because you're opting into, at best, a 2v3. So that's not a very favorable play, and he gets promptly punished for it. And unfortunately for red team spot lane, that series of events just fiesta their lane into a terrible, terrible situation. Aphelios and Blitzcrank both have 2 assists apiece. And that's actually enough of Cisco to make up for the CS deficit that the Aphelios has. Which has just gotta be a slap in the face. Like, he's gonna go back and actually pick up Boots and Dagger. So he's pretty close to finishing his Boots. Now Aphelios does have a long way to go to catch up to the Ezreal. And Ezreal has his tier now. Jax gets the spin. Oh, the damage. He finally starts winning some trades. Riven can't fight that, not against that big of a mini wave. But that also means when she collects that mini wave, she'll still be very far ahead in CS to the Jax.
She backing off? What are you doing?
Backing way off because the Jax can actually beat her under the tower. He's a level on her. He has the skills. So she's actually going to surrender that entire mini wave. That's gotta hurt. That's like 3 waves being built up right there. Jax is going to recall in the Kayn's face. Riven chooses to expend her teleport to get back to lane. But by then it's just a cleanup effort. I don't think she gets that much here. She actually just lost like 20 CS. It's painful to watch.
Yeah. You hate to see it.
Aphelios does get his cannon now. And the Leona gets pulled in, rooted up, the Eclipse a little bit too late. All the damage is already gone. And there is the Calibrum snipe and flash forward. Sniper shot kills her off. I think Leona Eclipse a little bit too late there. Blitzcrank going for another hook on the Ezreal is not successful. Riven's fine, she will escape. But now Jack's in the position where he's actually beating her. He has 2 extra charges on his potion. Riven's holding on to a marginal CS lead, but that is very quickly dwindling away. She's just been forced back again because of a really bad trade. And the real thing that stings is that she just teleported back to lane, got like 10 CS and was forced back again for brown boots. So now she's gonna ping assist up top, because at this rate that this lane state is going, it's not gonna favor her. Jax has the mini wave in the position he wants. He can set up a slow push, and Kayn posturing bot side. He has no intentions of going up, but the Orianna will answer the call instead. Can they make something happen? They do have a pretty large mini wave build up, but it's hard. And there's the Orianna. She has a shockwave. She's gonna connect. No, it's not. It forces out the Jax flash. He's gonna make it out safe and sound. But I guess bad news for Riven. This also means that her lane is in a really awkward position. She can't push onto him. She can't dive. She's not level 6 yet. She's pretty far behind right now in terms of levels. If she had level 6, that would be a dead Jax, or at least a situation where Jax will have to back or just outright die. Blue team is gonna send 4 down to claim the Drake. They have the priorities because we're on the roam top. It's 7:30, so in 30 seconds Herald will spawn. Kayn will help himself to blue team's blue buff. Jax will recall, and he's gonna pick up almost Ninja Tabai, but not enough. Aphelios gets his pickaxe. So for now, at least momentarily, stronger than Ezreal, because he doesn't quite yet have Monomune. Oh, never mind, it gets matched. Pickaxe gets matched by pickaxe, but depending on Aphelios' guns, he can still pretty easily defeat the Ezreal. That's gonna be a Herald secure at mid. Not Herald secure, Scuttle secure on the Herald pit, rather. Herald is on the table now for both teams. Leona gets pulled back yet again, and the pistol chakram combo does so much damage close quarters, shredding through Leona with Eclipse up. She'll be fine, she will take not even half of her health bar. But that pole did a number to her, and they might get this Demolish proc off. Oh, Blitzcrank, he's walking up a little bit too far. He takes some pain on the way back, and the hook lands onto a minion. Flash forward by the Malzahar. Orianna tries to roll on top again, but she gets caught out, flashing away from the Space Ace, but it's not enough, and it transfers onto the Riven. So that's a 2 for not kill. Uh-oh. That is not the sequence of plays that you want, and now blue team is so much ahead. The hook, oh, once again it lands on the Leona. And she's actually going to opt to go in, face tanking the Moonlight Vigil, and it actually works out. The Leona kills off the Aphelios on the counter engage. Blitzcrank has just made a terrible, terrible mistake. Now he just has to make it out. He doesn't have mana to pull Leona, so he's just gonna sheepishly walk away. He left his ADC to die. Pulling in the Leona is always it's always funny. You can't kill her, you don't have enough damage to burst through Leona's shield. Which, still, one of, not even one of, absolute, uncontested, the best defensive skill in the game.
Yeah.
It just has everything. It has armor application, it has damage, it has passive, it has flat DR, which is something that only 3 other things in the game have. Things, that's how specific it gets.
True.
And the other sources that give DR don't give a lot. It gives like 12. Like the next best thing gives 12 DR, and that's an ARAM item where you're fighting all the time. 20 for a flat DR is just insane for one ability. She just doesn't die when you put that on. It's almost like you have a mini. It's almost like you have a mini Tarek ult every time you press W. And now blue team, they do secure the Herald, so they're gonna drop it bot lane. They want to crack this. This is the only lane that's not really looking that good for blue team. Top lane is naturally winning now. And mid lane just picked up a pretty good kill on the Ori. And this is the Ori going tier build. Ooh.
I don't know about that one.
I mean, it's existent. I'll say that. I do think just the classic... Oh my god, how did that hook hit? The lollipopping connects, and the Crow Storm over the wall. Now the Ezreal is being drained away. He'll be fine. He tries to return some damage. But the Leona is actually eating way too many hooks in this lane. And so far she's only able to turn Waldos into a favorable thing. And there's another hook. But there's a mark on the Fiddlesticks. He gets popped. And the Kane flashes forward to try to kill it. He will get the kill. But at the cost of his own life. He gets puked on before he can make it over the wall. And now the Orianna Shockwave. Not enough to save his life. Riven has to flash away under her own turret. The Jax is way too heavy sustainable, and the Moonlight Vigil hits the Orianna with the Blitzcrank hook. This man just does not miss, and they get the 8th kill of the game for blue team.
That's a yikes. Starting to see a trend here.
Starting to see a trend here. What is the trend?
A red team always loses.
Yes, the trend of red team always loses. Is that true? Did we have a blue side Nexus die today in the casts? I don't think so, right?
I don't think so.
All 4 games have been red side losing.
Yes.
Yeah, because first game was Morgana, and second game Kindred won it. Third game we just saw, which was blue team Olaf.
Red team losing.
Blue team LeBlanc and LeBlanc and Ezreal with Olaf cameo. Yep. Now Riven going for an aggressive trade onto the Jax, but Jax has a 2-level lead on her. Just because he's been able to send her back so many times. Riven wants more, but she doesn't have ultimate. Oh, that's a very ambitious hook. It's gonna whiff, and now the Blitzcrank might be in trouble. The Solar Flare lockup is there, but the exhaust cuts the damage. He might make it out. No, he cannot. The Ignite finishes it. But the Ezreal still doesn't have a kill for himself. Leona will stopwatch to keep herself alive. Red team kills the Drake, and that's gonna send the game into Ocean Rift. Ezreal is actually doing pretty well for himself in this lane. He's behind in kills, sure, but that's kill stealing, you know? Classic.
Yeah.
The classic getting kill stolen. He does have a pretty sizable CS lead over the Aphelios to make up for it. He's holding onto a Monamune versus an iEdge. The iEdge wins in this case, but I believe he's sitting on a ton of gold right now. Yeah, he's sitting on the better half of a Triforce. Now Riven has had enough, and Jax under the tower. Wind Slash was a little bit too early, but it doesn't matter. Riven finds that solo kill. And finally, Jax's over-aggression under Red Team's tower costs him. He does get killed off. It's 8-5. Red Team kind of pulling it back. They just found 3 kills to 0.
It is still pretty even in gold.
Yep, still pretty even. But now the wild card always is, how well do either team fight? And that's a hook on the Leona. She gets pulled back in, but there's no damage to follow up. Aphelios is not there, so they just have to let her go. Fiddle is going to take away red buff for himself, and Riven is farming up top. Malzahar is clearing the waves decently well. And Reap Silence, not you worry.
Nice.
We have a lot of red team players farming very well compared to the laning counterparts. Even Riven, who's, let's be honest, back to some really awkward times, lost some trades she shouldn't have. She's not behind that much in CS. I'd expect that when the lane state got to a point where you were actually at one point 2 levels below the Jax, they're caught up now, but at one point when you're that behind, her CS score doesn't even suffer that much. Red team do seem to be better laners in general, but so far blue team has had the better skirmishes. And all that might be put to the test very soon, as team fights will start to break out soon. Red team is going to lose their first turret, and now the Jax is jumping in. The Kayn, he's staying in Jax for way too long, and that's going to be a 2-kill lead. Once again for blue team, taking a 2-0, taking the team scores to 10-5. The hook. Oh, it goes on the Leona, but she gets puked on halfway through. Can the Eclipse tank it out? Yes, it does, because it's Leona. It's a very balanced defensive ability. And the re-engage comes down. The Moonlight Vigil with Inferno bounces onto 2 in the back. But now the Aphelios has to try to run. The pistol speed is going to keep him out. The hook that would kill Leona is just barely whiffing past her. Blitzcrank was not able to hit the kill-confirming hook. And now Red Team managed to turn a play around right on its head. And Leona is very low, still staying in this lane.
Interesting.
Riven's going to face check into a Jax, and she's going to lose that trade. Now, knowing Gary's turn, he's going to... If they win this game, knowing Gary's turn, he'll say he carried.
Oh, him, of course.
I disagree.
Leona plays are so clean.
I disagree.
Oh
a lot of these have just been him getting hooked.
He's baiting them.
I don't think half of these are... Nobody baits by being like, hey, Blizz, watch me stand still, now pull me. Because that is the most lame-brained, peanut-sized brain bait I've ever heard. Hey, Blizz, pull me is the worst way to start a bait. A lot of this has been actually Leona's misposition, just not being properly punished, because I think the Aphelios is actually underperforming in this lane. His positioning in all of these picks have just been a little bit off. And he hasn't been outputting enough damage to match the Ezreal.
True.
I do think a lot of this matchup and how it played out comes down to... Well, first of all, Blitzcrank hitting hooks at really weird times. But it's actually Ezreal being able to turn a lot of the damage. He's farmed very well, given all the circumstances, and that means he's actually able to overpower the Aphelios. Even when Leona gets pulled in, as long as she presses W and tanks a sufficient amount of damage, she can allow the Ezreal to do her job. And that's not really like Leona carrying per se, that's just more the Ezreal carrying, but the Leona abusing her tanking to speed the support, and look at that! That might be a turnaround, and suddenly that's gonna be 2 kills! No, Aphelios sprays down the flames! 3-0, that tower dive goes way haywire. That's another example of over-aggression costing Red Team, and I'm not sure who called for that dive. But diving with incomplete information is always really awkward. Now, they definitely would have killed the Aphelios if the Fiddlesticks wasn't there, I'll give them that. It's not a play you try when Dragon's on the table. I think in that case, the more correct play is, even if Aphelios look juicy, you take the tower, you force him to go back, and you secure a Drake. But because that 3-for-0 happened, that's going to be blue team taking their the third Drake in the game, their second. Now they have a gold lead. This is a pretty sizable goal lead to play around with.
True. True.
Yeah, Aphelios is working on his Runes Hurricane now. But so much of this laning dynamic has been pretty interesting. Blitz has so many hooks. Some of them are just because Leona can't dodge, and some of them are just actually pulling at the wrong times. But every time, Aphelios gets some chip damage, but never is able to finish a kill, because the Ezreal is overpowering him. He can't commit to any skirmish as long as this Ezreal is alive, and Blitzcrank has never been able to find a pivotal hook on this Ezreal. Pink Ward is going to be killed here by the Blitz. He finds a Leona. Power Fist will punch her, but they can't continue this trade, so Leona will just make it out safe and sound. Blue team does still have an 8-kill lead, but can they do anything with it? Oh, Ezreal, he gets that red buff. Jax doesn't get it. Leona's gonna ward forward, barely avoiding getting caught out. Blitzcrank tanks a lot of pain. Oh, he walks right into Solar Flare, and the lockup, everything is there, the damage is there. He tries to rocket grab a teammate to him, but that's not how rocket grab works. And he's just going to be picked off and die. Shockwave lands on the Jax, and now the teamfight might break out. Crowstorm in the back. Oh no, the control is there. The Ezreal gets puked on, gets killed off. He doesn't have QSS. And now the Leona is in a lot of trouble as well. And that's suddenly a teamfight turned on its head. A 2-for-1, where the one died before the teamfight even began in earnest. Aphelios and Malzahar both alive. They're starting this push down mid. Riven is split pushing bot. They're going to send 2 people back to deal with her. She can't kill this tower in time, I'm pretty sure. And now, checking back with Orianna. She committed to the Seraphs and she finished it. I've personally done this build before. I've been underwhelmed by it because you don't wave clear enough. Oh my god, the blue cane damage!
Oh, it's insane!
He just, wow, that wasn't even the Fed cane.
Oh my!
That wasn't even the Fed cane. That was just straight up Warrior Tiamat Dirk, and
That's clearly why you.
He gets the deletion.
Blue cane all the time.
Gets that deletion. So blue cane still. I talked about this, I believe, like yesterday, but I think he still has that problem where he's one of those assassins that fall off, and that's a really... Uh-oh. I'm sorry I talked bad stuff about you. Come back. Here comes the Crowstorm. It's going to fear up the Leona. Oh my god, the Leona just died. No chance there. And the Riven tanking up the Crowstorm to try to kill the Fiddlesticks. That's not going to work, and now she just has to run away. See, the blue cane is a jungle that falls off really hard. And I don't...
Yes.
In that respect, I kind of hate the pick. Because at some points, when Aphelios wisens up, buys like Death's Dance or something, Kayn will no longer be able to kill him. And that's when Blue Kayn gets really annoying to play as. With Blue Kayn, you need good momentum, you need to ride it out, you need to win games fast. And the Jax, there's so much CC being dumped on him, can he make it out? No, he cannot. Shut down from the Riven. And here comes the Righteous Glory on the Blitzcrank. He needs to get the silence off. Oh! That's a rookie error on Blitzcrank, but we'll talk about it later. Here comes the fight. The Leona Solar Flare locks up the robot, and he's going to be controlled and killed off. That's going to be 2 bodies overall. Riven comes in from the side, and there's her ultimate being popped. The large sword is chopping through blue team. They need to try to run away. Can they make it happen? Flash stun by the Leona, and now the Aphelios gets killed off. Riven finds it 4-for-0. Red team takes a really good team fight, and that's going to be a call to Baron. Now they don't have their jungler, he's still disconnected, and the Fiddlesticks is wise to this, probably. Jax has a teleport. Fiddle still alive with Crow Storm. This is not a fast Baron by any means. They can't do this. They have to back off and they know it. They're going to turn their eyes towards the dragon and Fiddle is already there. But not for red team. They try to start a Baron they cannot afford to take, and that means their back have been delayed. So that's gonna be a free Drake to blue team, and they're gonna be at soul point unless Orianna has something to say about it. Can they make it in the last second? No, they cannot. Jax secures it, but the team fight breaks out, and the Jax is jumping on the back. She's trying to hit the Riven, and the Riven is dueling with him. The True Shot Barrage comes in for some chip damage. They lose a body, but they take the Drake. In the case where it's a 4v5, I say you take those. Blue team actually lost a surrender vote. Somebody threw up a surrender vote after that 4-0. I think that's weak mental. I don't think you lose the game off that one play, but
yeah, that's questionable.
I think this surrender vote is way too premature. The slow goes down on the Jax. He's counter-strike spinning in. The beating is continuing on the Ezreal. Can he make it over to the wall? He does. The flash will save his life at the last second. That was very, very close. He could have easily died there. Now red team in a pretty awkward position. They won a set of team fights. In fact, they won it so hard, Orianna feels justified in getting Magi's. Which is amazing when you're fighting a 4v5, by the way. Like, that's totally not a bad item at all. Yeah, you totally keep those stacks. Don't worry, keep trying it. She does have a stopwatch to bail her out in one case, but... Leona's trying to clear some wards around Baron. Red team's still looking Baron, but I don't think they can take it without Kayn. There's no chance in hell they do this. Now blue team is pinging it. Did they spot out the Ezreal? That's gonna... They actually might try to start forcing it. They're gonna clear out the Vision. And yeah, they're going for it. Maybe. Nope, they're gonna bait it. They're just gonna bait it for now. Oh, the Voidling is smacked the Baron.
Questionable.
Worry is working on her. I believe that's a hat. The death cap right now takes a hell of a long time to finish. I do think Zonius is a slightly higher priority for her, but here comes the fear! The Crow Storm to flee! Ezreal cleanses it, immediately goes back out, and the puke goes down onto the Riven as well, but the Jax teleports in. The Riven might not have nowhere to run. She chooses to try to get out. The Leona's on the side. Blitzcrank flashes over, hooks into nothing. Absolutely nothing. And the Leona is still fighting on the side. Solar Flare drops. Ezreal comes in to fight. The Aphelios gets controlled. He needs to try to run. Moonlight Vigil gets tanked out by the Sun Lady. And the rest of the fight is coming. The Ezreal does kill off the Aphelios, but pays with his own life. It's a 2-for-2 overall. But blue team has the better numbers by virtue of 4v5. Red team's holding on just for now, but I don't think they can hold on forever. Pretty soon they need to try something. Either they break open the game or they lose due to a numbers disadvantage. Orianna does pick up a second rod. Her stopwatch broke in that last team fight. So did the Ribbons. That's a huge amount of safety net suddenly removed from the red team. Now, when you play Blitzcrank into an Ezreal, there's a very common trick you can do. Especially there was one instance in the game where Blitzcrank tried to go for that hook on the Ezreal at tier 2 tower, where if you're overdriving in, you have to ulti first. It will silence the Ezreal for half a second and then you pull. Half a second doesn't seem like a lot, but it's actually the exact timing window that the Ezreal needs to start Arcane Shift in to buffer the hook. If you silence him first and then pull, he can't buffer out of it. But because when Blitzcrank very clearly had an opportunity to do it a few minutes ago, but he didn't actually do it, I think actually costed them the Ezreal kill there. Don't underestimate the 0.5 second silence, because against champions like Tristana and Ezreal, that is their buffer window. So you can actually guarantee a hook if you silence them first. Riven, she does find the wall robot. She's going to go to town on him, but he's not taking damage as Riven's not doing any. Can she finish it with the wind slash? She needs to wait out the exhaust. The exhaust is gone. Wind slash goes out, but the control is there under the tower, and the Malzahar is here. Tragedy unfolds. She just dies. She pings out Blitzcrank exhaust as if that matters. It doesn't even matter that they blow that summoner, lady. You can't do that play. Leona's gonna try to catch out the Jax on the side, and there's the Crow Storm. It's coming in. The area control, the CC is there. Everything gets mistimed, and the Fiddle Zonius bypasses all the crucial ultimates. It dodges True Shot, it dodges the Shockwave, and it's gonna dodge out the Orianna. She's gonna get pounced on. This is an ace here for blue team. The game will not acknowledge it because there's a guy in the fountain, but every living member just died, and blue team secures Ocean Soul. And this game, I believe, is done and dusted. Now keep in mind, Gary Sir did blame his earlier losses that we weren't casting on the fact that they had AFKs in every game. If that's true, I kind of don't believe it, but you know, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll say he did have an AFK in every game. This will make it so that he's had an AFK in more than half his games, which is an alarmingly high number of AFKs.
Yeah,
I've casted like 100-something games now, and I've seen like 4 games of AFKs. But ever since doing this saga, I've just been seeing AFKs and disconnections left and right. This is truly a hellscape. Blue team secures Baron Nashor, and the hook goes down on the Orianna. This might be the Hail Mary fight. The control and the CC, the AoE, everything's there. Every member from red team checking Baron Pit has just died. Orianna loses every page in Magi's. This is why you don't buy Magi's. She just spent 1500 gold on an M Tome. An M Tome that's fully open but completely blank. So now the game is in a really awkward spot. This is a 4v5, there's not much you can do. And blue team doesn't actually seem that intent on ending the game. They're still playing with their food, prolonging red team's suffering. The Space Ace spreads onto the Raptors, it goes on the Riven. She knows she can't take this fight, but she sure as hell gonna try. The rest of blue team collapse and kill her off. And now even red buff is theirs. The entire jungle is theirs. The entire game is theirs. They just have to go out and take it. Here's the push onto the last standing inhibitor. 5 strong. Not something you can say here for red team. True Shot Barrage goes out fully in vain. It barely chips out their high fires. Ocean Soul will keep them rejuvenated. This is the final push. Blizz flashes forward and pulls a minion as it spawns. Very unfortunate timing, but that's gonna be the end of the game. He could flash into the fountain and they still win this. And blue team takes the win.
Oof. Yikes.
Yikes.
Yikes. The AFK came. And he was doing so well too.
What do you mean so well? He killed like one guy. Like, job's done, boys. Time to go.
Job's done. That's it. It's time to go.
My job's done.